Catherine of Aragon. She was born on 16 December 1485 and died on 7 January 1536. Does anyone know anything about Catherine of Aragon? Has anyone heard of her? No, but I like the way you're thinking because you are right about some of them. Now, Catherine of Aragon is kind of the one who is the reason why Henry VIII split off from the Church of Rome and created the Church of England. He did this because she failed to give him an heir, a true-born, royal-blooded son to follow him to the throne. And then the split never would have happened if she would have just accepted, hey, he wants to divorce me, I need to step aside, and he can marry someone else, not my problem anymore. No, she decided, I am his wife. I have been his wife since the moment I said I do. I will be queen and his wife till the day I die. And he was just kind of like, oh, no, sorry, I'm kind of head of the Church of England now. You get to go die in a chapel, basically. So that's what she did. She was exiled to this really shabby castle, you can call the castle shabby, with no household, just a couple of servants, no food. She had commoners bring her food, so it was very little, not at all what a princess of the blood was used to. She was kept away from her daughter, and she was called the Dowager Princess, and she had never technically been queen under Henry's control. So, I gave all of the queens nicknames because, as you'll see, there are 3 Catherines, 2 Annes, and 1 Jane, and they get confusing. So, I named Catherine of Aragon the Pious. Can anyone guess why I didn't do that? You can look back on your personality quiz and kind of guess it.
She was stubborn.
Well, she was stubborn, that's for sure. Now, if you look at all of the question A's, most of them reference God in some way or another. She was a super devout Catholic. I mean, she prayed at her prie-dieu. I'm sorry if there's any Catholics in here and I'm pronouncing that wrong. Every day for hours. She went to Mass 3 times a day, if not more. So she was truly, truly devout. So the cause of her downfall, like I said, she didn't give Henry the son he wanted and never accepted that they were truly married. So she was divorced. All right, the queen who followed her was Anne Boleyn. I'm sure most of you have heard of her. Have you known her? No? Okay, just me. I'm crazy then. All right, she was born in 1507, supposedly. It could have been 1501, 1504, 1507, 1509. Most historians say it's 1507, but we're not really sure. She did die, we know this for sure, on 19 May 1536 when she was beheaded. The cause of her downfall was she failed to give Henry the son he wanted, like most women did, and she may have been a little bit too promiscuous. She was accused of having committed adultery with several of Henry's courtiers, including her own brother. Yeah. So, but you're looking at her nickname, and you're going to ask me, why is she named the Witch? Anybody see that? Anybody curious?
Because it rhymes with.
Okay, no, I didn't think about that. That's good. No, I did not name her the Witch because it rhymes with the other word. No, I named her the Witch because she was also accused of being a witch. She was accused of having a second thumb on her left hand, and you can kind of see how over here, is that her left or her right? Yeah, that's her left. How her hand is taken out of the portrait. That's because it's hiding her other thumb. Now, we can't prove this now, of course, because we know where her bones are, but we haven't gotten permission to look at them again, so we can't prove anything. But most people said that she was accused of witchcraft because she made the king impotent and couldn't have a son with any other woman but her. But then she didn't have a son either. So she only had 1 child, or living child by him, and that would be Elizabeth I of England, one of the longest reigning queens. No, not that Elizabeth. I see you thinking over there. No, this is Elizabeth I. You're thinking of Elizabeth II. Okay. So what happened to Anne Boleyn? Dead.
Not with the guillotine?
No, the guillotine was not created until later, and that was mainly used in France. Now, Anne Boleyn did love the French, so Henry gave her one last parting present. Instead of her head being chopped off with an axe, where normally you'd have to bow on your knees and spread your arms out like this while your head is resting on this, he got her a French swordsman. So what she did, she knelt on the ground like this, and he just came in and chopped her from the back. One swipe and her head was completely off. For most of the time with this method, it would take 2 or 3 or 4 whacks. And you typically didn't die until multiple whacks after they started. Isn't history just beautiful? Alright, so the next wife was Jane Seymour. And I'm going to skip her birthday, I'm going to skip her death date, and I'm going to go back down here to the nickname. The mother. Can any of you guess why I named her that?
Did she have like most of it?
No. Actually, that one belonged to Catherine of Aragon.
Give her
She was, but no. What was that?
Give her
She died. That's it. She gave Henry the son he prayed. Edward VII, I believe, is the king he went to. But unfortunately, Jane Seymour died just 7 days after giving birth to her son. And this is the only wife that Henry is said to have truly mourned. So she died 24 October 1537. Very true. Yeah, I thought about that last night too. Now, she's also nicknamed the mother because she is very motherly. One of her favorite hobbies, if you go back to your personality quiz, was she had an herb garden that she loved to cultivate for medicine for the commoners. That was just kind of one of the things that she liked to do.
Like, so does it go in order? Because you have like A through F. Is it like?
Good job.
Is that okay? Just making sure.
Yep. Yep. There was a tie-in with that. So Jane Seymour finally gave the king his beloved son, who was sickly and not that great of a king in his time. But that's another story, and we'll find that out later. Okay. So she did die, and she is the only queen of Henry's to have received a proper funeral and burial. And this is kind of her headstone. It says, in a vault beneath this marble slab are deposited the remains of Jane Seymour, Queen of King Henry VIII. And King Henry VIII is actually buried next to her. So.
After you murdered people.
Oh no, it was thousands actually. He's not a great king. Alright, Anne of Cleves, born 22 September 1515. She was one of the youngest wives of Henry. She died 16 July 1557, so she outlasted him by 10 years. But she was not his last wife. So what happened? The cause of her downfall, by the way, I should mention, she is a German duchess. She is only the second foreigner that he would marry, and the last because of her. Going back to the cause of her downfall, she was not aware of English court ways. The English court was quite fascinated with the court of Arthur of the Round Table and knighthood and all those gentlemanly things, whatever you call those. So masks and charades were a big part of Henry's court, and he loved to just surprise his wives. So one day, a couple days after she came into the country, she was watching a bear baiting fight. Pretty gruesome. I won't go into the details. Bear baiting fight. Yeah, I won't go into the details of that. It's very gruesome. But she was just sitting there, minding her own business, watching. And she doesn't speak English. She only speaks German. And here comes this man, very big, fat man, tall, and he's dressed like a servant. And he tells her translator, "I have a present from the king for Mistress Anne." And the translator tells Anne and says, "Okay, I will receive it." And he finds his hat. He just gives her a big old fat kiss right on the lips with tongue and everything. Sits back and says, "I hope you have enjoyed your present from the king." Now, if this were to happen to you, what would you do?
Oh, the servant did that.
Yeah, the servant did that.
Oh, yeah.
You'd probably be appalled. You'd be like, ooh. You wouldn't want that. That servant was the king. He dressed up as a commoner and kissed her to kind of see her reaction. Because in the English court, you're supposed to know your one true love at first sight without even having spoken to them. Okay, so she didn't know the court ways, so she reacted with disgust, and she kind of stepped back, and he didn't like it. He said that she was too ugly to be his wife because of that. Yet this portrait by Hans Holbein, which he had seen before he met her, and she's not too bad. I mean, her headdress isn't that great. Her dress is a little bit wide, but nevertheless, if she got into some English fashion, she might be okay. You know? And later on, she even is considered to be his sixth wife again. Yeah, so she has a pretty weird relationship with Henry, and it gets weird. When he divorces her, he says, I don't want to kill you. You haven't really done anything to me, you're just too ugly. I'm going to adopt you. Yeah, that's why I think maybe you're the sister. Because she became his sister. She was therefore referred to as Princess Anne, sister of the Queen of England. Yeah, I don't know his thought process on that one. But yeah. Yeah, so she was just divorced, and then she lived out the rest of her days in England in a happy little house. She often visited court. She was quite loved by the people. She was a pretty good woman. Alright, so next we have Catherine Kitty Howard. Now, Anne Boleyn, the witch, the one accused of adultery with multiple people, including her brother, she had a very powerful family backing her, the Boleyns and the Howards. This is Anne Boleyn's first cousin. Now, if you had just divorced a woman, beheaded her, and was looking for a new wife, would you go for the cousin of the wife you accused of adultery and witchcraft? Yeah, probably not. Most people wouldn't, but Henry did. The reason he did is because Catherine was born in 1523, supposedly, and she was only 14 when they married. That's why they named her the child. She was very, what's the word I'm looking for, immature. Her favorite thing in the world was gowns, jewels, money, pets, anything furry. She loved furry things. And she was very much into the social scene. She loved interacting with everybody, especially men, as we'll see. Her downfall, she was accused of adultery, once again, with one of Henry's courtiers, Thomas Culpeper. And there were a couple of others, but he was the only one that they could prove. And she was also accused of having not been a virgin upon their marriage. Now, to us, that's not a big deal. But back in this time, not being a virgin on the night of your wedding was a big deal because it meant you were pure for your husband. And so Henry, when he discovered this, supposedly 2 years after they'd been married, he's like, no, I've been using, she's used. I don't want her anymore. Just, no. So I'm going to behead her, once again. So the two Howard girls, they were the same way. She was like 19. Yeah. She supposedly got married when she was 14, so she would have only been 16, maybe 17, depending on when her birthday was in 1523, when she was beheaded.
6 months.
Okay, so next, Catherine Parr. Another Catherine. All right, Catherine Parr was born in 1512. She died September 7th, 1548. She barely survived Henry VIII. She was almost divorced / executed when Henry got enraged because they'd been having a theological debate. Now, Henry had written several works on theology. You know, God says this, the Bible says this, what does it actually mean? And he loved debating these things, but only if he could win. And there was one debate that he had with Catherine Parr in which she won. And of course, you know, when you're an almighty ruler, you don't like to lose. You want to win. So he started the proceedings to have their marriage annul and then have her beheaded for treason, for disagreeing. And Catherine Parr, a smart woman that she is, because she'd already survived 2 husbands, they had both died before her. She was childless when they married. She went up to him one day in his privy chamber, which you're not supposed to do. You're only supposed to be invited. She went up to him, she got down on her knees, and she said, "My Lord husband, I am sorry for having disappointed you. I am sorry for having argued with you. I only wish to take your mind off the pain in your leg, and that is the only reason why I have the baby. I am here to learn from you and to serve you." And Henry gave me, I call him evil man that he was like, "Okay, you have humbled yourself on your knees before me, you can pass." So she lived. Now he died about 4 months later, so it wasn't like she had much time to mess up after that. But she still got out of a tricky situation that her predecessors had not been able to get out of. So, after Henry died, she married Thomas Seymour, the brother of Jane Seymour, the mother. And she died 9 months after that, giving birth to her one daughter, who had then died 10 days after her. So she didn't live long after Henry, but I have nicknamed her the survivor because she was the wife who was with Henry when he died. So, now this is a cute little thing that I found. How many of you have heard the little rhyme, "Divorce beheaded died, divorce beheaded survived"? No one? Okay, I really am crazy here. Okay, so that is the rhyme that a lot of teachers use when teaching this for you to remember who was who and what their fates were. Catherine of Aragon was divorced, Anne Boleyn was beheaded, Jane Seymour died, Anne of Cleves was divorced, Catherine Howard was beheaded, Catherine Parr survived. Okay, so let's go back to your personality quizzes. If you circled mostly A's, you match up with Catherine of Aragon. Mostly B's, Jane Seymour. E's, Catherine Howard. B's, Anne Boleyn. D's, Anne of Cleves. And F's, Catherine Parr. Does anybody want to share their results? Disagree with them? Agree with them? You survived? Awesome. Do you like debating? You what? Oh, nice.
Who was the witch?
Nice.
Are you about?
And did anybody get the witch?
Winky.
No.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, actually, wait, Henry's the one who made made another Bible, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, make sure.
Yeah, he was one of them. He translated the Bible, or he had the Bible translated from Latin and Greek into a common tongue that most of his commoners could read. So either English, Welsh, or French.
Yeah.
Depending on the version you go for.
Wait, was he the reason okay, because the Protestants are the ones who was like, "I don't like your version."
Yes. Yes. But don't confuse it with Lutheranism, which was a common religion in mainland Europe, mainly Germany, led by Martin Luther. Protestantism and Lutheranism are similar, but they're not the same. So, and Protestants consider Lutherans to be Puritans.
Cool. All right, thanks.
Any other questions?
Very nice, very nice. All right.